If you look at Kamala Harris over the last 24 days, what have we seen? She won't answer questions. She won't talk to your network or any other network. She has no specific policy. No, but this does matter. It does matter, and let me explain. If she won't answer questions, hard-hitting questions about her record and what she's going to do, not the fluff about joy and moving forward and freedom. We're talking about the real political and policy issues that are going to affect the American people. She's nowhere to be seen. She will not answer questions. She has not talked to the American people. On her own website, there are no policies. So what's easy to run is if you're a Hollywood starlet, but we're running for president.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. If you are meeting me for the first time, my name is Clevy, and it is so nice to meet you. You guys, we are presented with another video today. And of course, we have Byron on CNN. Now, every time I see each of these interviews, or I even see the title, the first thing that comes up from my mind, especially when I see, the guest in question, if they are from the Republican Party, I'm like, are we about to have, I would now start thinking about the reporters. I'm like, are we having another activist here? Because that's the norm these days. Or we are having, the Democratic, campaign spokesperson. So I'm like, who exactly are we having? Are we indeed having a reporter or these other variations? But anyways, you guys, let's dive right into it.
The CPI just out this morning. This is the first time that overall inflation measured on year-over-year basis has come in below 3% since March of 2021, a trend that you could say could be good for the Harris campaign, maybe fueling the Fed to begin to cut interest rates in the fall. What's your reaction to it?
My reaction to it is that Kamala Harris's administration with Joe Biden crippled families across our entire country. There was a video of a black woman being interviewed, I think by MSNBC, talking about how prices have gone up massively. A bell pepper that was $2 is now $5, and she was able to get through it. But what about a single mom with 2 kids, 3 kids, doing everything to make ends meet? Well, the reason why those prices have been massively expensive is because Kamala Harris was the tie-breaking vote on Joe Biden's American Rescue Plan in 2021. She was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act. All that did was create massive government spending, which created massive inflation on the backs of the American people. Overall, prices are up well over 20%, especially when you start getting into food and other areas like that. So Kamala Harris's record has been one of leaving working families behind. When Donald Trump was president, we didn't have a massive inflation. Our economy was growing massively at the same time. Working families were getting ahead. Middle-income families getting ahead. Everybody was thriving. I think so. The key issue is what was just brought up about which candidate is the candidate of political and economic change. It's without question that candidate's Donald J. Trump, because Kamala Harris was sitting there shotgun with Joe Biden, creating one of the worst economic situations for working families in the last 40 years in the United States of America.
The idea of change, though, is all about perception, right? I mean, it could be change from now, or change from Trump, or change from, left to right and where I was just yesterday. So change is a perception that is in the eye of the voter. And what Harry Enton was getting at on the issue of age is that in the analysis you can see that it's flipped for Donald Trump, that now more voters are seeing him as too old to be president compared to what voters thought back in May. This was a Democratic problem. Is this now a Republican problem?
Well, first of all, with the polling that you're talking about, I'm not totally surprised, because if you look at Kamala Harris over the last 24 days, what have we seen? She won't answer questions. She won't talk to your network or any other network. She has no specific policy. No, but this does matter. It does matter, and let me explain. If she won't answer questions, hard-hitting questions about her record and what she's going to do, not the fluff about joy and moving forward and freedom. We're talking about the real political and policy issues that are going to affect the American people. She's nowhere to be seen. She will not answer questions. She has not talked to the American people. On her own website, there are no policies.
But when you think,
so what's
when
easy
she
to run
answers
is if you're a Hollywood
questions,
starlet, but we're running for president.
But you think when she sits for interviews, lays out policy, you think that's going to lead with more people thinking she is too old to be president? I'm trying to follow the line here.
No, it's not about her age. It's about her ability and her competency to lead our country going forward. What's going to be her economic agenda? Is that going to be different from Joe Biden? I don't think so, because Susan Rice is on the record now saying that Kamala Harris was integral in the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris agenda. I just laid out for you that she voted and she broke the ties in the Senate to push Joe Biden's economic agenda. So she has to answer for that. What is she going to say? Oh, I just want to move forward. And let's go back to another one. When she ran for president in 2020, when she was in the United States Senate, she supported the massive Green New Deal. She supported Medicare for All, a co-sponsor. She ran on that in 2020. Now she's trying to throw out staffers to run away from that. So what I am saying is not about age, about being a candidate for political and economic change to help our country thrive. Whether you're black or white, rich or poor, middle income, it doesn't matter. That person's Donald J. Trump. It is not Kamala Harris. And that is
my
why
point
Kamala
was I was
Harris will
asking
not
about
answer
age, which
questions.
is why I was, and you've brought up her not answering questions. You've also called her not competent, and on that, Nikki Haley has some advice her advice was for Donald Trump, but I guess it would apply to all Republicans, including yourself, her speaking on Fox and how you guys talk about Kamala Harris. Let me play this from Nikki Haley.
Quit whining about her. The campaign is not going to win talking about crowd sizes. It's not going to win talking about what race Kamala Harris is. It's not going to win talking about whether she's dumb. It's not, you can't win on those things. The American people are smart. Treat them like they're smart.
And she also said it's not going to win talking about how she's not answering questions. Do you agree?
Well, look, like I said in this entire interview, I've not talked about Kamala Harris's crowd sizes or anything like that. I am talking about her competency
Congressman,
to lead this country.
you said her
Hold on,
competency,
but I wanna
and
be
you said
clear,
that she's not
because
doing interviews, and those are two of the things that Nikki Haley said. One second.
As if Nikki Haley runs the party.
Those are two of the things that Nikki Haley said you guys should not be talking about because it's not going to win you voters. What do you say to Nikki Haley?
Well, first of all, what I'm talking about is about her competency to lead our country. And competency is based upon decision making and policies that you support. That's what it's always based upon. And if you look at her record in the U.S. Senate, if you look at the fact that she was there as a partner with Joe Biden, leading to one of the great economic collapses for working families in our country, because when you have massive inflation, when wages are down, adjusted for inflation, when people are having to make decisions between the light bill and food or housing and other things, that's a catastrophe for working families. It's devastating to middle-income Americans. Kamala Harris, that is her record. And so all I'm saying is that, yes, she has to answer for her record if she's going to choose to answer any questions at all. Right now, she's choosing not to answer questions. It is being done on purpose because when you examine her record, it demonstrates that her record would lead us to truly believe that she doesn't have the competency to lead the United States of America going forward. We know that Donald Trump has the competency to do so because he's already done it.
Where do we even start from, you guys? And it's been how many days now, and we've not seen any interview. She's not granted any interview. I think the one we are really looking forward to now is the debate between her and, I'm talking about Harris and Trump. Now, you guys, notice how they never do this to the Democrats. Notice how every time it's a Republican on the hot seat, we are always getting these gotcha questions like, And then when you see them interviewing Democrats, you get this, softball questions. And I bet you if it were Harris on that seat, you would hear questions like, so Kamala Harris, you are a very busy woman. How are you able to, manage this great campaign even with your busy schedule? That's what you get. Soft questions. How does it feel? Being a black woman running for, you will get those questions. You won't hear anything about policies at all. And I love that, Brian was able to, Brian and JD Vance are like, they're able to handle hostile interviews because, it looks like every major network is just all out for Republicans. So whenever they have the opportunity. JD Vance said the other day, I've been here for 15 minutes, and 15 minutes you've been hitting this. How about you have Harris too on the seat and you do the same thing to her? And do we even talk about Nikki? Nikki, you said you won't win voters that way, right? So, how many voters did Nikki win? If she knows so much about winning voters, why isn't she the Republican nominee? They touched on so many things. They also talked about, Trump being too old. Wow. Wow. And did you see the statistics? Wow. Please, Biden and Trump, who's older? And when Biden was running, we didn't, that didn't seem to be an issue. We didn't hear that. We did not hear that. The person you say is too old has taken how many cognitive tests? How many now? Let Harris go take, the test about basic subjects. Let's see if she'll pass. Now he's too old. Now he's too old. Huh? Oh. Remember when I was about starting this video, I said, when I see things like this, I ask questions. Are we getting an activist or a Democratic campaign spokesperson clowned as a reporter? That's all we got. That's what we got. That's what we got. And it's most time when you watch these interviews, it now looks like you're debating the reporters. Like, are we here for debate? Or you're supposed to sit down there, hear me speak uninterrupted, actually do the reporting without interjecting my views? Last I checked, that was the definition of reporting. But that's we've gone past that now. Now they're just being so unprofessional, so disrespectful. If they don't like what you're saying, I bet they're changing it. I'm so proud of the way Byron did handle this. I mean, that's one consistent thing about, his interviews. He hits it right there on the head, on the nail's head. No beating around the bush. Says it as it is. And you guys, this is something I love. When she was asking her the question about, about the age, I love how he kept it 100 on Harris. I love how he did that and didn't even get distracted, by the tricks on the age question. Because she was trying to do some got you there, but nah, he handled that so well. You guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about this? And please make sure you know who you want to vote for. It is just by the corner, you guys. November is just by the corner. So make sure you know who you're voting for. Be informed.